And I wanted to give a clickety title. Honestly, I've already forgotten what I named this live stream. I think it's something along the lines of how to be an artist. I wanted to give it a clickbaity title. I wanted to give it something that would provoke some sort of thought in people, where the obvious answer is that there's no real rule book, there's no real obvious explanation as to how to be an artist. And you know, I think it's a funny, hilarious title. It is hilarious. I'm losing my mind by how funny it is that I can't even laugh about it. I heard this one comedian, and this comedian was saying how upset he was at people who use the word hilarious when something's really not that funny, because they're not actually losing their minds. And I'm bringing that up now. I am losing my mind over how hilarious it is to be an artist. Because it's so undefined, there are so many ways, and I think historically there was like a clear path, right? You work at the school, the atelier, you study, and you work your way up. But because it's changed so much in the past couple of centuries, there is no clear path. And there are those that say all you need to do is claim the title, and then there are those who will say, there's a big difference between those who claim a title and those who have not reached world acclaim or whatever. But I have this piece up right here. I'm actually not going to be painting, working on this piece right now. I wanted to get another canvas ready. I'm going to paint something else tonight. If you saw my earlier live stream, I was at Bergamo Station, which is a very well-known collective of art galleries in Santa Monica. And it was very nice. It's worth going to if you're ever in the Los Angeles area. For some reason, I can't get this open. If you're ever in the Los Angeles area, it's worth checking out. There's some amazing pieces there, some great inspiration. And heck, I think if you're even whether you're an emerging artist or a highly successful one, it's a pretty cool place. It's an inspiring place, and it's open to the public. There's parking, which in Los Angeles is not a commodity. So what would you call it? It is a rare treat to be able to go somewhere and be able to find parking very easily. So many benefits to visiting that place. Oh, all right. Almost lost this canvas. And here we go. There's all these gels in here to prevent this from drying up, I guess. It's silica gel. I don't know exactly what the purpose is of the silica gel. But let's go ahead and place this right in front of our other painting. And let's see. Actually want this to sit against it, but not necessarily right all the way up against it. So here we go. Whatever shall we paint today? I don't know. Let's just experiment with paint for now. Let's mess around, experiment, play around with designs. And let me grab a brush here. I've got some great brushes, by the way. My two favorite brushes right now are this one from Rosemary Co. This is a filbert. This is the Ivory brand. This is like I can't tell if this is a synthetic or a natural fiber. And then this is a filbert from Masterstroke Blick. And I just love the materials, the actual brush materials. This is a thinner brush. It's a bit more, creates like a softer texture, and this one's a little bit of a thicker, denser brush. But both are amazing. Rosemary and Ivory. Rosemary Co Ivory. I'm going to use this one for now, the Blick Master Stroke. And let me see, I need one for some shaping. Here's a brush I haven't really used yet. This is a Princeton brand. And I wanted to title this "How to Be an Artist" because you know, I think it's a question that could be hard to examine, right? Like there's this idea of like imposter syndrome that is pervasive, but like back in the 80s, from my understanding, you know, people could just like go out on the street, they'd call them whatever they wanted. If they like played in a band, they could call themselves musicians, even if the band's only like a week old. If they were, you know, if they did artwork, they could just call themselves artists. If they did anything, they could just claim the title. And I think that's something that we could definitely learn from artists throughout the ages is sometimes you got to claim what it is your identity, what it is you feel your identity is. And let me find one more brush. I just want this brush and then one other brush, and I think I'll be happy with what I have here. There's another brush I could use. I'm gonna use this other filled. Actually, you know what? Let me clean this up right now. And how to be an artist. This is also symbolic. As much as the idea of how to be an artist, as much as I'm using that as like a clickbait title, I also, you know, want to address the issue, not just through clickbait and be like, hey, this was totally not what the title is, but, you know, I wanted to do the clickbait to draw attention to this idea that, you know, sometimes people don't have the answers. There is no rule book. That's the reality. That's the truth of it. That, you know, there's no rule book. There's no one person that could tell you, hey, this is how to be an artist. You just, you know, I think the majority of artists, they just become them. Sometimes they're born, sometimes they're made. You know, born in the sense that they start painting from a very young age, and then made as in, you know, one artist meets the right art buyer at one point, and that art buyer becomes a mentor and helps that artist thrive. And then some people, like, I think David Cho's a really cool example. He's an artist that I guess was just doing like street art or something, and he was really talented, and then he went to Facebook, got a deal to get stocks from Facebook and trade for his art. And of course, we all know what happened with Facebook stocks back in the day. They went up, and David Cho became a very wealthy and successful artist. I think that's a really interesting story. So there we have it. And then it makes you curious, like, what would have happened if Basquiat never met Andy Warhol? And for every artist out there that is prepared, that, you know, does meet one of their idols as artists, do they have postcards ready? Is it necessary? I think these are some interesting questions as far as art careers go. But how to be an artist, you know, what's the rule book there? There's no rule book. There's just a part of you that becomes, that is. How do you be something? You can have, be, or do whatever it is that your heart desires. So I've got my yellow here. I've got a, oh yeah, by the way, let's see. I know sometimes these streams don't show the messages right away, so I gotta constantly check back on this. But I've got my three main brushes. I got some blue, I got some yellow. I still have a little bit of black, some white, and let's just go after it. Let's see, what should I do? Trying to think of something. I've like viewed this part of my living room so many times, and I've done so many sketches of it. And you know, it's funny because as I paint more, I feel like I start to run out of ideas. Although when I first started painting, I was like, I will paint anything. I can paint anything that gets put in front of me. And I think that's how artists, you know, really used to do it, is they were like, they would just put stuff together and paint it. Whereas today, because there's so much, because there's such a need for making something interesting, that you almost like lose that what would you call it, that ability to find the beauty in everything. So let's see where else. Got a pillow. I'm trying to just think of ideas. I have some cool stuff here. I should probably paint. You know what? Screw it. I didn't come in with a plan just now, so we'll see. Let's just start sketching with our black here. I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe we just do something totally abstract. And right now I'm just sketching out some designs here. Do something totally abstract. Maybe this will turn out to be, you know, something, I don't know. Whatever happens in this mind. Painting for the sake of painting. Painting just to see or figure out whatever comes to mind, even if it's nothing in particular. And what I find interesting is, if I wasn't live streaming, if I was just, you know, doing this for personal reasons, if I was just sitting around, just sketching, just for fun, you know, the context of it would be, I could just paint and sketch anything. But because I do this via live stream, there's almost this expectation that it has to be something that either people can learn, like a Bob Ross, or that there has to be some super technical skill or concept, or it has to be like action painting. You know, I have to like throw paint onto the canvas, which isn't the case here. I'm just sketching out using a level of like intuition to figure out what I want to design. Oh wait, can't even see what's going on here. Let me move this painting up. There we go. You can see that better, right? So there's a cat right there. It's one of our cats. Got a door blocking my space right here. And let's use the rest of this black color that I've got just to sketch out some designs. And how does this all come together? I'm not really composing in a sense of, I'm not really thinking too much about how I want this painting to look. I'm really just laying down lines and just experimenting. I think this is like a level of, we'll call it like a creative freedom that is sometimes hard to do, especially, you know, if you're doing this like for live streams, because, you know, sometimes you have to make things that make sense, sometimes you have to do things to entertain, but here I am just exploring what my mind wants to see, what my mind feels the need to observe. Here you go. I'm really loving this brush right now. This is a Princeton brush from that you could get at Michael's. And who knows? Like, I feel like this piece right now could almost be a piece in itself, like with these random markings. but I am not that courageous. I find an artist who's able to just like do art pieces with just these little markings on it to be a very confident and courageous artist. But courageous in the sense of like, you know, they're just so free to just do whatever the heck they want, right? They're just free to just lay down a couple of lines and then call it a masterwork. And I think there is also this habitual part of me that, you know, really feels like I need to fill a canvas. I can't just, you know, leave a few lines and I can't just leave a few lines and call it a piece. We'll see how this turns out. This is just total messing around. By the way, so I will say this. Some of the reasons why I paint even projects like these is just so I can free myself up to do paintings like this. And I know that sounds silly, but there's this part of me that's like, okay, I need to do some technical work. Why are you messing with my phone?
To see what the time is.
You just ask Alexa. Alexa, what time is it?
I don't like to ask her. She's busy.
But yeah, I have like, you know, I like to exercise both sides of my brain. The right brain, the left brain, the bottom brain, the reptile brain, everything. I like to exercise all these different parts of my brain. And thus, you know, capture all different areas of my mind onto a painting. And what will be revealed, nobody knows. This is the mystery. See if I can keep myself. See if I can leave this as a mystery for myself. If I don't even know what I'm painting, then I imagine all of you watching must also be intrigued and curious about what's about to happen. Kat, why are you looking with disgust right now?
It's not disgust. It's easy to see what it is.
What?
It's a boob and a tie.
A tie?
And an eye.
Ah, of course, that's exactly what it is. You're just looking with disgust. I'm just kidding. She's not actually looking with disgust. She's looking with an unusual grin. I projected that false emotion onto her.
I wasn't disgusted.
I know.
I could tell what it was. I don't know why you can't.
I can't though. I still don't know what this is. I still cannot see or understand what we're painting here.
What? Are you trying to play with my paper?
Huh. There we go. What if this just ends up being a bunch of shapes? Does that feel childish? Is that childish to do that? I don't know. But you know, fortunately today there's probably no child or young artist that's just sitting around doing something goofy like this. So it does take someone such as myself to. Why she has Pookie? You've had too much catnip. No more catnip for you. Even her eyes are bloodshot.
Let's see. Are you high? Are you
Even
high?
her eyes are bloodshot.
I think you've been getting into that catnip too much. Yeah, too much catnip. Knitting for cats. Yes, knitting for cats. It's not allowed. That's knitting.
feel like this one should totally be a horse right here. I don't even know how a horse looks.
Triangle with a
Like, where does the ear of a horse come in? From the side, right? A horse's ear comes from the side. There we go. How does a horse look? I know what a horse looks like, okay? I don't know why I said that. Sometimes I say stupid things on here. But yes, is this a horse? I feel like this could totally be a horse. Here we go. Let's go. This one, I feel like this needs a closed shape here. And let's just go ahead and cut across. In a few moments, we're probably just going to start messing around with all of this. But let's just cut across here. Alexa, who founded Cubism with Pablo Picasso?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Pablo Picasso and George Braque are usually considered...
George Braque. Alexa off. Yes, George Braque is the person that I was trying to think of earlier today. George Braque. Braque. Let's see, where else this brush? Let's go.
It's kind of gross. Burger meat on the floor.
It's okay, they're gonna eat it eventually. Alright, I think we got the majority of our black paint so far, so... Really liking this brush here. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, let's clean off this brush. Let's check out some new colors and see what comes of this.
Alexa, set timer for 45 minutes.
What are you setting a timer for? Laundry?
45 minutes, starting now.
Let's go like this. Who thinks I could frame these and call them art pieces? I think I could. I think I should. Just because you could doesn't mean you should. Just because, huh? I'm gonna frame these paper towels as art pieces.
Okay.
Huh? You don't think so?
Go ahead. So much art, baby. So much art.
Crazy about art.
We should be, but let's get some space.
There we go. We're gonna grab some of this yellow. We're just gonna go into here. There we go, color number 1. I saw some wonderful, wonderful pieces today. I can't remember all the artists' names, but it was really interesting to see all the different stories being told. with all the different pieces that were there. This is one really good one. This dude painted a bunch, or dudette. I don't know if there's a man or a woman or whatever. This artist, I guess I should just call them, this artist painted a massive painting of a bunch of people sitting around a table. I thought it was brilliant. A bunch of people sitting around a table dressed in suits and really nice outfits. And there was a hyena. They were all laughing as hyenas were laughing, eating a carcass of some animal. But that was a really interesting piece. I liked it a lot. And we shall see where this one goes, if it goes anywhere. But maybe what I should do is I should start to mix some colors here. Let's grab... Might as well throw down a little bit of green. A little bit of green here. A little bit more black. Need some more black here. There we go. We got this black right here. Find our there we go. Here's a really handy tool right here. You know, I used to paint things, but now I just paint whatever like starts to pop into my mind. And I would say that's how my art has really changed in this past year or so, is rather than trying to paint things, I'm spending more time just like painting what's spontaneously in my head.
The lady that I was working for at the Sun Valley.
Okay, we're streaming, just let you know.
I know. She's stopping by.
Oh, okay.
I gotta tell her.
Okay, cool. All right, and here we go. We're gonna use our tube squeezer, knock out a few more tubes here. And let's go. Let's do some drippage up here. Letting the oil racing across the top here. Let's see how quickly these drops of oil race down. I'm gonna grab our green. Let's stop our oil right here. And grab another green. These little dabs of oil right there. Grab some more of this green. So I use a walnut oil. That's the oil that I use. Let's go right here. Let's see what happens if we start to... Well, maybe this will stop it. Will this stop it? Will this stop the oil from coming down? Can racing specks of oil be considered an art form? Can this be considered art if all I'm doing is messing around with this oil and seeing where it goes? I don't know. Where are we going here? Let's see. Let's try to see if we can guide this oil somewhere. Yeah, just put it on that couch, please.
Does it have to be like that?
Well, I can't put it here right now. So yes and no. Not yes, but not really.
You should make special couches just for that.
Yes. see. Let's take a figure here. Let's take my own figure. Let's take a figure.
They all jumped in.
All of them are in it.
Basically, yes.
Let me draw a horse. Let's go.
Hey! This is a barrier.
Yes.
Oh, hey, let me.
Come on, you can get in. I'm gonna work on my partner's here. He's
Hey.
live streaming while he paints.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Nice to meet you.
It's filming that way, so you're not on camera.
Come on in.
Can I take a peek at it?
Oh yeah, no, I'm just messing around with this one.
He does a lot
That's
of
so cool.
Just messing around
does all
things.
this stuff.
Yeah, thanks, Kazimi. Yeah.
That's super.
Nice fun little collection. Thank you.
Right on.
Yeah, there's her up there. Just a little
Oh, I
in the
love
middle.
it. Yes.
in the middle. Yeah.
Oh,
And
super
here's
cool
your
artwork.
keys. Come on
Thank
in.
you so
Kitty,
much.
kitty,
Yes,
kitty.
and then this is for you guys.
Okay.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
really good.
Chocolate.
cool, look at
Oh
that.
my god.
It's all prickly pear stuff.
Sounds awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything.
This is Pookie.
Hi, Pookie.
Here, let me.
This is Scout. They were my fosters.
All right, we're back to being unmuted. Michael, hello, welcome. We are unmuted again and back at the craft of painting, the craft of being an artist here. Let's be artists and do artist things and paint stuff. This work is definitely experimental with the allowance of, I feel like one day I need to just like paint something without the use of black and then just put black on top of it is what I need to do. But I'm constantly allowing the black to like permeate into the rest of the space.
Wants to eat.
And that creates,
Want to eat?
that can create issues.
Want to eat?
You know what I should do is I should just move this painting from behind it and not have it there. Wouldn't that be smart, huh? Hey, Pookie! Ah. She's trying to escape. Where's Scout? Is he in there?
Scout?
Pookie!
Scout.
You see Scout?
Scout.
Huh? Is he there?
Yeah, there
Oh no, Scout's on a table. Okay, good.
Oh,
All right.
I'm gonna go lay with that. Alexa, how much time is left on the timer?
You have 17 minutes left on your 45-minute timer.
Beautiful chocolate.
Mm.
Here's syrup. Jelly and honey. Wow.
Let's take this and we're gonna make some vertical strokes here. Let's take our white and do some vertical strokes. I'm gonna go, or horizontal, I should say, horizontal strokes.
I was thinking about candy. You're right.
Isn't it nice how, like, when you look at a painting, you can make assumptions about an artist or their personality, but you never really know who they are until you actually meet them. It's an interesting feeling just walking through Bergamo Station, just seeing all the amazing pieces of artwork, and allowing the merit of the art to speak for itself, to speak for the person, rather than any other sort of assumption or what have you that there might have been. I like that idea. What do you say, Kat? I need to read that book again. There's a book called The Art Spirit by Robert Onry. I got to get back into that book. It had some really interesting ideas. Nice little art philosophy book. There should be more art philosophy books. The Artist Spirit. So here we go, bringing this across right here. I wonder if people see this work, if they will ever be like, oh yeah, this actually looks like some of the other paintings that he's done recently. Or whether they're like, oh no, I don't know, this looks like something from a different person. Surely there is a stylization that allows one to be able to look at a piece and be like, oh yeah, that seems like something that Emmett Ferguson, aka Huzzah Creative, would make. Let's grab some of this, grab some of our blue. This exploration of color and mind, this exploration of ideas and just trying to capture like what's in my head, not specifically any technique or any specific imagery, but just really just pushing the boundaries of whatever. By the way, Kat, did you see that art? Kat, can you hear me? So there was an artist, like a very thin blonde woman, and what I thought was interesting. So it said that she was a sumo wrestler. She ran a marathon in like Nepal, and crossed the Gobi Desert and did all these other wild and interesting things. Huh? What? I think it was the Craig Kroll. Oh no, Gallery X2, so Gallery 12. It said that she was a lightweight sumo wrestler. How cool is that? Huh? You're what? Why? Why are you shutting me out? That's a good reason. It's cold and I'm loud. Let's do some pops of yellow here. We got our CAD yellow medium. Ooh. There's CAD yellow medium, CAD yellow light. This is our CAD yellow medium. I'm gonna go clean this brush off. Actually, no, we can probably still grab some of this. What we're gonna do, actually, after we're done, we're gonna go over all the black areas and repaint some of the black areas. But for now, let me. Wow, wow, Kat, they liked you. Cats are carnivores, people. Can you believe that? Cats are carnivores?
What?
Cats are carnivores.
I thought you said they were hoarders.
They are carnivores. Carnivorous creatures of the night. And let's grab our yellow here. Let's take this yellow. And we're going to move in with this yellow. We're going to take some of this yellow and just move into the space here. Let's go right into here. Right, grab this yellow right here. Bring that right into here. And take our little mineral spirits dropper here. Let's watch these droplets race down the edge of this canvas here. See where this goes. I love these drippy effects that we can get. Let's go with our yellow. And off we go to the races. Clear that off. Clear this part off right here. And and how does that look from another perspective here? Let me grab some of this blue, paint that into here. And here we go, getting down with the abstraction here. You know, I usually, when I think about these paintings, I feel like every moment is a creative moment, because every moment is a moment where, you know, I haven't really planned it out, right? Like if I think of, and this is just like a art philosophy here, a personal creative philosophy. You know, if I think of drawing a circle or painting a circle, the idea of that circle is already the creative act, right? The idea itself. But the actual drawing of the circle is more so a technical act in the sense of, you know, I can have somebody literally just draw the circle. And I find that this type of painting, the spontaneity of it all, really helps to yield a lot of extra, just being in tune with, you know, what exactly my mind wants to do. And sometimes it creates some interesting works. And sometimes it's just a mishmash of mishmash of wild and interesting, bizarre colors here. And that is where the discovery, the exploration comes in. And I don't know, can we, is this good to just allow this to sit? Let's see what we can do. If it's possible, we can tighten up some of the blacks here. The blacks, and make them more, make these colors, these lines more distinct and separate. We'll make a lot of these lines bolder. Embolden these lines is the name of this game right now. Let's see about this section right here. I think on my next paintings, I gotta say to myself, I'm not gonna use any more black, and just allow some of these colors to just permeate, allow them to be vibrant. Cat, the alarm's going off. Alexa, off. Here we go. All right. What is this piece? What's up, dude? Going with some more abstract ideas right now. So I was writing the other day, Omizu, and I was thinking, like, if I was a caveman. So this is an interesting fact about myself. I did a 23andMe test, which is like a DNA test. And on that 23andMe test, the results came back that I was like 98% or 97% or some really high amount Neanderthal. And I don't know exactly what that suggests about me, but as I paint, I like to imagine myself like, if I was like a caveman, like a Neanderthal caveman, if I was like sitting in a cave somewhere and I had the invention of paint and I was just sitting in a cave somewhere painting, you know, with no preconceived references or like whatever, what would I do? How would I paint? And I like to think that in a way this is how I might paint. I would do something like this, you know, just laying down color. I mean, obviously it's impossible to totally get rid of any preconceived notion I've ever had about painting. It's impossible, right? Like when you know something, you can't get rid of it. But I think at some level, if I was just sitting down with paints and I wanted to like mix them together and just start laying them down, and I didn't really understand what like maybe shapes were. You know, how do you paint if you don't know what a shape is? Or how do you create form if you don't know basic shapes? That's pretty difficult, actually, I think. Like, if you could erase what you know is a shape, a triangle, a circle, a square, obviously they probably knew what that was because somebody invented the wheel. I don't know if it was a caveman, but somebody invented the wheel, and that was a circle, but that's not necessarily, you know, that wasn't necessarily defined as a shape. Or like, you know, we know the moon has different shapes. We know that the tip of a spear, our hunting cave ancestors would hunt with spears that were shaped sharply at the tip, which would, you know, hypothetically be a triangle. But I guess without names for them, you're just making stuff up. And yeah, so I like to think now, like, what would I paint if I was just, you know, sitting in my little cave by myself in the middle of the night using like a stone fire, and what would I make? What would I create? Something like this, I think, right? Like I don't have any expectations of what's supposed to be there. I just want to fill in space and make something look pretty or interesting or amusing. And this might be what I would do. So that is a fun fact. I'm 98% Neanderthal, 97, 98, 99, 96, I don't know, 90 something. I'm very high up there in my Neanderthal genetics, which I don't even know what that suggests, but I find it very amusing that that's even a category of a genetic. Like, does that mean that I'm very close to our ancestors and I haven't evolved very much, or does it mean that my diet should be as close to pre-civilization as possible? Does that mean that I share blood with more than 90% of humanity? I don't know. Whatever does it mean? What does it mean to be a Neanderthal? According to AI, no human being can be predominantly Neanderthal. Not sure if that is bursting any bubbles. I could be 1 to 4%. Okay, cool. I mean, that's what my... Oh, let me see. Let me pull this up so I can show evidence of this. All right? I swear that my 23andMe says that I'm like 97% Neanderthal.
97%? That's not possible.
Huh?
That's not possible.
I could be wrong, but let me look this up. I am an ancient human being, Kathleen Roy.
Okay. I'll be back in a minute.
They can still get out.
Yeah, let's fix it from this side.
I'm a primitive son of a Neanderthal. Let me look this up. Accept all cookies. 23andMe, sign in. I don't remember what email I used. Is it this one? Oh. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. I already have 20. I bought so many versions of 23andMe, and they're constantly asking me to like upgrade to stuff. I don't even know anymore 23andMe. Can you stop asking me to buy like 10 different versions of 23andMe? Stop it. Just stop it. I've already paid you lots of money to analyze and share my genetic information. I think I've given you enough. Have I not given you enough? Scientific details. So I'm pulling on my ancestry, DNA composition. Let's see. I actually don't remember how to find this specific coding of. I'm on 23andMe right now, and I don't want to accidentally show too much. Here we go. So it says Neanderthal ancestry. We've identified 356 genetic variants that could be traced to the Neanderthals, ancient humans. I'm going to view my report. Oh, okay. I read this very wrong. How dumb am I? I really am Neanderthal. That's how dumb I am, okay? So this says, Emmett, I have more Neanderthal DNA than 99% of other customers. More than 99% of other customers. So, but I have less than 2% Neanderthal DNA. Okay, well that explains it. Let's see. Oh, well this is cool. So this actually tells me like what my genes say. So it says my one variant associated with generally not feeling angry when hungry. I don't usually get hangry. That's good. That's pretty accurate. I'm less likely to have... Alexa, what is hitchhiker's thumb? I don't have a chin dimple. Oh, this is pretty good. I don't have any difficulty discarding rarely used possessions. That's true. I definitely have a good sense of direction. So, so many things. This tells me all these things. Oh, wow, look at these. So Neanderthals have all these traits. Neanderthals, I guess, they had difficulty discarding rarely used possessions. They get more itchy during mosquito bites, sense of direction. I have 0 of these variants. So, Kat, you were right.
About what?
So all it says is that I have more Neanderthal DNA than 99% of other customers.
Oh.
But it's only less than 2%. But still, that's a lot.
I always knew you were a caveman.
That's a lot, though. It's very, I'm a very primitive dude.
God. Barbaric.
Should I allow that to permeate into my paintings, or should I like, should I evolve, right? Should I evolve and do the work of the masterful artist, or should I allow my Neanderthal DNA to dictate some of what I do? But let's see. Hey, Kat, did you know this? I have a variant that's associated with generally not feeling angry when I'm hungry.
Oh, that's good.
Do you know what hitchhiker's thumb is? Okay, I don't either. But anyway, I'm less likely to have hitchhiker's thumb, which I don't even know what that is, so I think it's true. But all these other variants, let's look at all these traits having to do sneeze, eating dark chocolate, eating less greens, less likely to blush, zero variance with more dandruff, being more likely, zero variance or more likely to cry while cutting onions. So all these traits of Neanderthals, and I have less than 2%. So everybody was right. I was wrong. I guess that does sound kind of goofy, right? Like 99% DNA with a Neanderthal. I'll have to correct that on my post. Because I have like 97% Neanderthal DNA. Let me correct that on my post. Let's see. It says like my genes are 99%, 90% more Neanderthal than other customers. I have more Neanderthal DNA than 99% of other customers. That's a lot. I'm the most Neanderthal person I know. So let's see. I don't feel hangry. I don't have a chin dimple. No. I have an ability to smell. Yes, I do have a good ability to smell. Oh no, that's the variant I do not have. Okay. So 3 variants. No chin dimple. Don't feel hangry. So apparently a chin dimple is Neanderthal. Hitchhiker's thumb. Let me see if I have any new. Taking a little break from painting right now. Let's see if I have any new family connection, share and compare, see all my relatives. I have 1 second cousin and 1 third cousin and like 1,000 fourth cousins, which I find very interesting. 1,000 fourth cousin. 1 second cousin. Looking at my family tree right now. So I'm on 23andMe. I don't want to give out any personal information of other people, so just trying to protect privacy here. Let's see. So I have one dude who we share a, let's see, he's a parent, grandparent, great-grandparent. We share a great-grandparent. My health history. No. What else? What else can I find from 23andMe? View my profile. I like to go through 23andMe every once in a while. I'm 100% East Asian. Let me share with people here. See, this is the most interesting thing that we were talking about earlier, that I am 99% more Neanderthal than most people. Is that something that I can brag about? I don't know. I don't even know. This is really true, by the way. I'm less likely to be able to match a musical pitch. I played piano for like 8 years, and I am absolutely horrible at matching musical sounds. I don't have much upper back hair, so I think that's wrong. Let's see. Definitely likely to flush. I definitely consume less caffeine. Let's see what else there is. I'm going to see my ancestry. So for those of you that are wondering, here's my ancestry, supposedly Chinese. I already knew that. South Chinese and Southern Chinese / Taiwanese. Very cool. Mainland. Interestingly enough, oh yeah, okay, there's Shanghai on there. See, it's sad to use 23andMe because I think with 23andMe, the dominant people, the dominant users of 23andMe are usually in Western or European countries. But all of my ancestry is in China or East Asia or South Asia. And unfortunately, I feel like the government would not allow 23andMe to participate heavily with their population unless they were able to have tremendous access to the data, which, you know, who knows what they could do with that. But I gave it up. I don't know what else. I've already done it. Hopefully no one tries to clone me and then frame me for something. I'm sure there's a lot of worse things that can happen. But hey, we've talked about DNA, a quick evolution. Yes, we've talked about DNA. We've talked about some other stuff. We did a long live stream this afternoon. So, Mizu, what's going on with you? Are you about to live stream? I'm gonna drop off of here in just a moment. Gonna clean up my area, and then I think what I'll do is I'm gonna relax. Relax before the night is done, but in that relaxation, I'm probably just gonna look at my relaxing is just either it's probably like looking at more art, just scrolling through like Instagram to find more art ideas, to think about how to connect with more people on art, to find some art shows that I can apply to. Like if I'm not painting, I'm pretty much thinking about art in some way. It is an unhealthy obsession. Actually, is it unhealthy? I don't know. That's all dependent on philosophy. I believe it's very mentally healthy to have a really high obsession with art. And wrapping up supplies now. Those of you that are just tuning in, we're going to be putting some of this stuff away. I was talking about 23andMe. We went quite a bit off topic. I know it can be. We did go a bit off topic, but I'm so glad to find out and get corrected that I don't have 99% Neanderthal genes. I just have more Neanderthal traits than 99% of people. Which is, interestingly enough, I mean, what does that even mean, right? What does it mean to have more Neanderthal traits than 99% of people? I can't tell if that like bothers me or whether that's like You know, should I let it bother me? Like, it almost makes me feel like I'm unevolved, you know? Like I'm an unevolved human being. And I say that jokingly, like facetiously, not even in a self-deprecating way, but in just a just like a joking. What does it all mean? What is the meaning of life? What does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to be a Homo sapien? To be mentally, physically, spiritually evolved from our ancient primitive rock smashing head bashing ancestors. And as I close up my supplies, that is the question of the night. What does it mean to have more Neanderthal DNA than 99% of other 23andMe customers? Mysteries of life. And that's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. We got this painting, and I will say I really like how it turned out. I wasn't sure, but I think what I've discovered, and I keep telling myself, this is when you know you're. I think they say insanity is repeating the same mistakes over and over. But you know, this mistake that I keep doing is I keep using black as like the under part of a painting, and then like because it's oil paint, all the other colors around it tend to pull in this a dark painting color. And you know, sometimes I feel like I don't really want it to be in the other colors, but then sometimes I just love the effects. And I keep saying I just, for whatever reason, just choose to start with black, but then I'm like, you know, I don't really want to get into the rest of the painting. So note to self, don't use black as the first color to do line work. And if anything, try another one of these. I'm just giving a note to myself, by the way. This is me talking to myself. Notes to self. Next time if I do this, start with other colors, use other colors, and only use black in a certain section. Or a dark blue. We could do dark blue. I don't really like how like a Van Dyke brown turns out. I could use like a Van Dyke brown because it's very dark color, but I feel like the Van Dyke brown does a really bang up job of like making everything look muddy, or maybe it's just the way I do it. I don't mind these colors. These colors are kind of cool. Like it's pastel mixed with like natural greens and subtle greens rather than the vibrant greens. But with that, thanks for being here. I hope I see somebody else stream as well. And take care. Have a good night, everybody.